Hello and welcome to the Fans Boxing Podcast, the podcast that asks the questions you want to hear. I'd like to welcome to the show this week, Norwich's very own trainer to the stars of the Kickstop Gym, Graham Everett. Are you all good, Graham?
Yeah, everything's good, thank you.
All right, cheers, mate. Like I say, we've been collecting a lot of questions over the week for you, and a lot of people would like to kick us off with how it all started for you in boxing, mate.
To be fair, I came from a boxing family. My dad was in the RAF, a boxer. My uncles boxed. My dad started an amateur club, which I was part of. I boxed as a schoolboy and a junior for Hickland Boxing Club. I then moved on to Norwich Lads Club, where I boxed as a senior, and then I became an amateur coach. And that's how it all started, and that's where we went.
Oh, brilliant, mate. Because obviously, who did you have in your stable them days, mate?
Well, to be honest, I started off with I was training Mark Atkin, who was a decent amateur who'd gone out of the game, and then he came back in. I trained him as an amateur. I had another fellow walk in the gym called Cliffy Eldon, who was about 19 stone, and I probably trained him for over a year. He had his first amateur contest at 16 stone. The following year, he went into the amateurs in the ABAs and won the Eastern Counties heavyweight. He then went professional, boxed at cruiserweight, and I watched him get smaller and smaller as the years went on. But he was probably one of the. There was Mark Atkins and him. Then there was obviously Earl Ling, who was with me in his early days and finished his career with me. To be honest, I started off down there with the shall we say, just on the road boys who ended up good fighters. They all ended up good fighters, but that was all good experience looking after them boys from scratch.
Of course. And when did you get hold of the likes of Herbie Hides, the John Thaxton, sorry?
Well, John Thaxton in the early days went professional up at the Ingle gym. He used to train in Norwich 2 or 3 days a week and go up to there for 2 or 3 days a week. So I'd done bits and bobs with John in his early career. Herbie, to be honest with you, was an established fighter, but he nurtured me into his pad man. That's how it all started. I was brought into his comeback. I'd done all his pads. I'd done a lot of work. There was always other people involved, but working with Herbie, it became a little bit of he was basically a full-time. He was a full-time job. So yeah, that's how it all started with Herbie.
Obviously, he's a big character, Herbie, at the time and stuff like that. But what was he really like to work with? Well,
I mean, I probably had Herbie at his most arrogant. He was, he'll admit himself, he was a very nervous fighter, very explosive. You would never really know what what mood he was going to be in or anything. But a lot of people said that he didn't. There's been rumours that he didn't train. I'll say this: that man used to train. He was a very, very dedicated fighter, a very good fighter, and that's only now in later years I realise how good he really was.
Yeah, because obviously he's had a bit of bad press lately, but if you look over his career, he had some wonderful nights. And speaking to the local fans on the boxing page we have, a lot of fans from East Anglia, saying things like, "Oh, we can't wait for the first Norwich world title shot," but them days have been and gone.
Yeah, he's a 2 times world heavyweight champion. They were great days. To be honest with you, when we were all boxing, there was very, very little professional stuff. Gordon Holmes was beavering away on his own for many, many years, but then Herbie come in. He was all of a sudden he was an international star. I think maybe that's what he was, perhaps a little bit too big for the people of Norwich at the time. Maybe that was the situation, but I think people like him more now. It's often one of them situations, isn't it? Like Chris Eubank was very disliked by certain members of people.
Yeah, of course.
On the way up, but people love him now. He's just a proper character.
Obviously, building up to them world titles in Norwich, what was the buzz like around the city and the surrounding areas, Graham?
Yeah, they were fantastic nights. Like the Tony Tucker win, and you'd probably think they'd never come again, but obviously with the likes of Ryan, Liam, Sam, and the rest of the boys, that could come again. I mean, there's a good possibility of Liam Walsh boxing for a world title. And it would be absolutely fantastic if you could relive them nights in Norwich, of previous years.
Yeah, it'd be great because I think it's like 5,000 or 6,000 packed into that sports village, wasn't there?
Yeah, I mean, it was a tremendous occasion. You got to remember Tony Tucker, Willie Fisher. They were excellent nights. They were well supported. They were such good, and for people like John, fighting for WBO Intercontinentals and things on the undercard, they were absolutely tremendous nights. It was the perfect venue, though. The Norwich Sports Village was absolutely perfect. Packed to the rafters. That's one thing was missing in this city is a really good, big enough venue to hold something like that.
Yeah, because obviously got the showground. They do some good nights there over the years, haven't we?
Yeah, for some reason it was great with John. That was that was John's time with with his British and European title fights. They were phenomenal nights. Nights that we'll never ever forget. But that was John's time, John's venue. I think, as it's a funny saying, but that's just seemed to fit in. Mick Hennessy, his promoter, was happy to do them there. It's just whether Frank would come back and do shows at the Sports Village. At the showground. It's getting somebody to be happy there. I went there last week to watch Ian Martel in a K1 fight MMA show there, and it was a great atmosphere. I don't think there's anything wrong with the venue, but the promoters have got to be happy to put on a good show like that, haven't they?
Of course, that's the main thing, keeping them happy. But obviously, Herbie's career, he came up against Klitschko in the end and lost his title. How much did you know about Klitschko at that time, and how much of a threat was he? Because obviously Herbie was a favourite on the night.
Well, all you can say is he was a massive man. He was a heavy puncher. It was a little bit of a hidden secret, but then I suppose really when you look back and you think he was a world-class amateur, unbeaten professional. He looked like he was in a different in a different weight category to Herbie. To be honest with him, that's the thing about Herbie. He was a very, very small heavyweight. He was quite often under 15 stone when he boxed. He might have been on the scales at 15.6, 15.7. He had clothes on and everything. He was in today. He would be a big cruiserweight. He would be a very strong cruiserweight. And if that division had been at 14 stone 4, as it is now, I think he would have reigned supreme for a long time.
Yeah, that's a lot of feedback we're getting about that. If he'd have been at the right weight, he'd been unbeatable.
Yeah, he just the thing is at all the press conferences and everything you see when he stood next to Vitaly. Vitaly was just it looked like a huge man against a smaller man. I mean Herbie was 6'1", 14.5, 15 stone. That was it.
Yeah, but he still took the fight.
Yeah, and he punched like a donkey as well. Punched like a mule kick, as they say.
Yeah, good statement. Obviously, Herbie, you went away to Germany for a while, then came back to Norwich.
He resurrected his career out in Germany. Give him all credit for that. He came back as a cruiserweight. He then came back. We started working together again. He went in the prize fighter, won the first fight, got the cut, and then that was sort of the end of things, really. To be honest with you, from going, he couldn't really get a break back into the system anyway. It was just, it's just one of them situations. That one year everybody wants you, and as time goes on, nobody wants you. It was it just the timing wasn't right for Herbie.
Yeah, of course, and obviously, I'd like to point out a couple of them defeats on his record were injury defeats. People didn't know that. But anyway, obviously moving on, touching on it a bit. Obviously, Dono, he had a great resurrection under you, Graham. Could you just talk us through some of them days, mate, and what you changed in his camp?
Well, I think John had a break, which freshened him up. Then I would say I think he benefited greatly from he used to work in a large group at Sheffield. It was very much more with me and him was very much one on one. Really, that's how we gelled. I think I grew in stature as a trainer with him. We got on very well together. We worked hard together. It was just a good partnership, and winning the British and European title fights was just it was an absolute fantastic comeback, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because he went from someone would consider one of the bravest, strongest, nearly men to a genuine champion of half the world. And he was very, very close to getting a world title fight. That the defeat against the Frenchman, I think put paid to that. But John was a great man to work with, absolutely great. I mean, we work together now. Great team, full respect for each other, and it rubs off on the fighters we're working with.
Obviously, that was a question we covered along. Obviously, John, with his background, he's been there, done that. He's nuts and bolt kind of bloke around the gym. They're so great to have, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, listen, we cover everything. That's what we do. There shouldn't really be a question what a young fighter ask me or John that we don't or we haven't covered that situation somewhere along the line. He's just we've got a great team down there. We've got myself, we've got John, we've got Darren, we've got Glenn, and we've got Russ Smith from Colchester, and also Matt Smith from Lowestoft. We've got plenty of trainers down there and plenty of experience, and that's probably why we're building the team. We've got a very good team and most enjoyable.
Yeah, you touched on it then, because obviously you've got a lighter weights. If people coming down to Kickstop for sparring, there's so many good sparring sessions to be had out there. Yeah,
I mean, obviously with the Walshes, Craig Poxton, Zathan, there's some good amateur kids come in for sparring. We do genuinely get fighters from London, all over the place. I mean, George Jupp has been up here sparring with Ryan Walsh in preparation for Mitchell Smith this coming weekend.
Yeah.
So that's all systems go. There's always something happening. There's always somebody coming up, and there's always fighters looking to join us, which is all credit to everybody part of the team.
Obviously, you took Ryan and Liam and Michael from amateurs to pro.
Yeah, well, they were amateurs. They were based in the amateur clubs here. But they used to come over from probably the age of 14 when they had ABAs or something coming on. They would come over and get some sparring in. When they were young, very young pros, they'd be sparring with John, who was a British and European champion. It's like the cycle moves on, isn't it? Now you'll get young kids come, or up and coming prospect will want to come and spar with Liam, Ryan, or Michael. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
So no, I trained the Walshes from the first day of them turning pro officially. It's gone well, and that's may it well continue.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, Michael, he's stepped back from the sport for the time being, but the other two, obviously, both British.
I wouldn't always believe that.
That's what I'm going to ask you that later.
You never know with Michael. He might walk in the gym, next week, and he's at it again. Michael is Michael. He's a complete. The rule book goes completely out the window with him.
Yeah. Obviously, I want to rather say it to Michael's favour. If he never got back in the ring, would he come under wasted talent?
You'd have to say underachiever.
Yeah.
But only because he hasn't been given the opportunities. I suppose really, if you've had somebody who's had 11 knockout wins as a professional and won the ABAs, maybe that's a strong word, underachiever. He didn't fulfill his potential, but to be honest with you, I think he was very held back by injuries. There's no two ways about that. He's had a problem shoulder from his young amateur days, and he's very, very unlucky with injuries. It's just just one of them things. If it's not to be, that's not to be. But the thing is, he's won an ABA title, so that's something most people can only dream of.
Of course, yeah.
I would have liked to have seen him get a chance, but I don't want him to go in there unless he's 110%. And as every year goes by, it's less likely to happen. But he's heavily involved with his brothers. He makes sure everything, in the training camps in Tenerife and stuff and everything. I mean, me and him work together to get sparring sorted and everything. So it's a great team. He's busy. He's building a house, etc. So everyone's busy.
Yeah, as long as he's happy and content, that's the main thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. That's right.
And obviously, looking over Michael's record, obviously 11 wins, 11 KOs. But I could point out some of them opponents at the time, they were supposed to give Michael rounds, and like Ian Bailey, and Michael just blew him away.
Yeah, I mean, that fight with Bailey was probably, quite possibly his most impressive performance, because Bailey was so tough, durable, and he got dispatched. Simple as that. Dropped 2-3 times, uppercuts.
Yeah,
that was all over for him.
That was a nice night. That was a nice night for the boys.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, moving on to Sam Sexton. He's obviously a lot of his early fights. And I can recall one of the fights at the club when he fought Lee Mumford, was it?
Lee Mumford, the same night Paul Davis made his
pro
debut.
Yeah, one full night for Lowestoft and everyone involved.
Yeah. He boxed well that night, didn't he, Paul?
He did. Oh, he did. He took some good shots and he gave some good shots and got the stoppage.
Yeah, no, I was pleased for Paul that night. Yeah. No, Sam was only really a very young heavyweight then, wasn't he? And he knocked Lee Mumford out.
I did the sound, but that night I've seen knockouts not before them nights and obviously things like that. But that was quite a bad knockout, and that did shock me a bit.
Yeah, that's just one of them things. It's boxing, isn't it? That's what boxing's all about. Unfortunately, you do your best not to get hit flush, and unfortunately, he got hit flush.
Yeah. But obviously, Sam done a lot early on in his career, didn't he? It seemed to come really quick for him, obviously, with the prize fighter win.
Yeah, well, Sam, the heavyweight's prime late, as we know. He's just had a year and a half out with an injury, but he's fresh. He's 31. He's had 4 championship fights. He's had plenty of experience. And he's looking very good. He's looking very sharp. He's with his mum being ill and everything, I think that really hampered him, unfortunately, at a potentially a very good forward moving period in his career, with his mum being very ill. That did slow things down badly for him. But that is what it is. What can we say? That's in the past. But he's looking good now. He's now had a couple of. I think he's unbeaten in 6 or 7 at the moment. So
yeah, it's really good.
Saying if Anthony Josh was looking for a good live opponent who's got fast hands and a good mover, they don't need to look any further than Sam, do they?
Yeah, of course. You just answered a question for me there, Graham. But a lot of people are asking, what do you think? Obviously, Sam can bring to the ring, but you just answered it for us.
Yeah, well, like I say, he's got plenty of experience. 21-3. Anthony, he's an excellent fighter, excellent power. You can see that if you stand up and let Anthony unload on you, then you're in trouble. That's as simple as that. But you have to be clever. Try and take him into later rounds. Move your feet. I think he'll struggle with movers. He's got, listen. You want to try. You want to go in against the best, don't you? So that's what Sam's in this game for.
Exactly, and we respect that. Oh, so you touched on Sam's comeback.
Yeah, tough fight that was. I mean, to be fair, that was it was probably a harder fight than maybe he'd have wanted. But the good thing about it is it told him, it told me, it told everyone around him, John, that everybody, Mervyn Turner, who's his promoter, it told every that he's still got the fight in him. He could have easily not dug in that night, and he dug in hard, and he got the victory. The next fight, he was a different fighter, faster, cleverer, sharper. But it's just what he needed, maybe a tough. Just see whether you still want it. A lot of people talk about it and think about it, but when you actually getting punched in the face, that'll tell you whether you really want to do it. And like he said, I really wanted to give it to him, which means he's still got the fighting spirit. So that's what we need.
Of course. But obviously, I look at the guys 3-1 at the time, and a lot of people saying, what kind of record's that? But if you look into the people he's fought and the decisions when it went against him, you can tell.
People at Reich are very short notice as well, and then he's I found stuff on him where he's been in K1 and stuff. They're a lot more experienced than what in Europe they do lots of different stuff. He's been in strongman competitions and all sorts, that Polish lad, and he had 7 weeks notice to get ready for Sam. That wasn't a short notice job either.
Oh, right, brilliant, yeah. And obviously moving on, a lot of talk of the town. We've put a few tweets out about it and stuff like that. It's obviously Martin Rogan 3.
Yeah, well, I'm hearing it off you guys. What do we know?
Right, we've got a statement to read from for you and get your views on it afterwards, please, Graham.
Yes.
I would love the trilogy to happen. They were both exciting fights, and this would put it to bed. I would like it to happen around February, March time. I believe the fans on both sides of the Irish Sea would have a mouth-watering fight. Truly realise I took Sam lightly before. No excuses this time. What happened, happened. I'm going to put that right. Better believe it. No more Mr. Nice Guy from me. Sportsmanship took over and resulting in my loss. But that is what I hope to change in the future. I hope to contact Sam and Graham personally in the coming weeks to organise this. It will be even more exciting than the last two fights. Let's find out who is the number one prize fighter and the number one former Commonwealth champion. Let's do battle.
Yeah, all sounds very, very promising. Listen, Martin Rogan, the whole Martin Rogan story. I remember meeting him before Sam boxed him, and I shook his hand, and I thought the whole thing was brilliant. It was the real Rocky story when he went and beat Audie Harrison, when he beat Matt Skelton. Absolutely brilliant. Then he may have took Sam lightly the first time. He may have done. And he may have been a Mr. Nice Guy, but he didn't win, and he certainly didn't win the second one. He absolutely got hammered the second one, and as simple as that. And that was in 2009. That's now 2015. So I don't think I really need to say much more than that. But all I can say is I have nothing but the utmost respect for Martin Rogan. Great fighter, great story, but maybe they're still a little bit too late for him. I don't know. But listen, business is business. I'll speak to Mervyn Turner, Shamrock Promotions. You know where we want to go. But if it's doable, it's doable. And let's see where the interest is.
All right, yeah, cheers for that, Graham. But obviously, just talking about the first fight quickly, I had a lot of questions about this. I don't know if you can answer it yourself, but obviously in the first fight, that round before it got stopped, obviously Sam turned his back and he spit his mouth guard out. People a lot complained about that at the time. Sam was it an old trick to get out of it, and then the fight was stopped later on. But where do you stand on that, Graham? I
don't really know, to be honest with you. His gum shield come out. It was, listen, John Thaxton's opponent, the Frenchman, when he got dropped in the first round, he deliberately spat his gum shield out. I don't know if Sam did. To be honest with you, Sam used to have this ridiculous mouth guard, what he had from an amateur days. It was a gold-coloured one. That's probably the one he wore then. But, listen, I can't. If his gum shield come out, to be fair to Martin, he probably knocked his gum shield out, didn't he?
Yeah.
It's. I don't think anything like that is really. It's history now. Anyway, it's history, and to be honest, let's not forget the first 5-6 rounds. Martin got his head absolutely boxed off by Sam. All the judges there had Sam ahead. We're in Ireland in front of 10,000 people. Even our promoters didn't give us a Scooby against Martin. And I'll tell you now, that's the only fight that I've actually gone and bet on, because I was that convinced that Sam had the skills to outbox Martin Rogan. We were heavy underdogs, and I won. And I won the second fight as well. That's how sure that I genuinely believe Sam would outbox him. And if he could do it in 2009, he can certainly do it in 2015.
Yeah, I just like to clear up for a personal point. Obviously.
Oh no! Listen, people can feel aggrieved about all sorts of things. The thing is, you could turn around and say Martin should have pulled Martin out, because when they turned around and said to him, how many fingers you're holding up, he went, I can't see. That fight is over, you know. So that's two. That's one argument for one side, that's one argument for the other. But I don't think even Martin could disagree. He was getting well outboxed. Yeah. He was getting proper outboxed in both fights. You know, taking nothing away from him. He's a warrior. He's an absolute warrior. I would never take that away from him, and I'd do nothing but respect him. But maybe there's enough controversy for us to do it again. Eh? You know, it's all down to whether that's right for Sam Sexton's career.
That is the main thing. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Obviously, moving on to the lad.
What about is Martin fighting Sean Turner then?
Wow.
Sexy, or is that not happening?
Sexy. That's talks of the Irish title, but I haven't.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, confirmed it with Martin. Who wants to fight first, or is he having a few comeback fights first, or anything like that? But Martin's going to be coming on the show soon.
No worries. It'd be good to talk to him. Yeah.
All right, cheers, mate. Obviously, moving on, the lads, you've got the gym at the minute. Some new coming through, and there's some exciting talent.
Yeah. Obviously, we mustn't forget Nathan. Nathan's been out injured a while now, but he's in the gym training every day, training hard. He's not too much above his fighting weight. We're just waiting for the go-ahead from the specialist so he can start punching again. So it'll be exciting times with Nathan back.
I can remember seeing Nathan fight. Ryan Hardy?
Yeah, good fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, good fight. I was there for obviously Craig.
Yeah, that's the first defeat for Ryan Hardy. That was.
Yeah, he was. I think he was 8-0 at the time or something like that. But, obviously, he was showboating on the night and giving it a lot of antics like that. But I've seen that Nathan really calm on the night and just stick to his boxing. Yeah,
he's got a lot. He's got a lot of talent, Nathan, and I'm really excited. As long as his hand holds up, which I'm sure it will. I'm really looking forward to getting a couple of quick warm-up fights and then back in the mix.
For him, also, he picked up the IBF youth title. Had to vacate that, didn't he?
Yeah, tremendous night. That was brilliant. You know, the Norwich fans were fantastic that night. They had their whole place rocking.
Yes, brilliant. Obviously, back at the young lad fought on the track called Charlie Goddard, was it, or Garrard?
Charlie Garrard. Kings Lynn lad, had 2 fights, 2 points wins. Really, really liked the look of him. Really did. I did. You know, I think he's back doing some light training down with Melly Payne at Heroes Gym. Really good silky southpaw, but he was just struggling. His partner, him and his partner had a little one, and I think it was work commitments. But you know, he's won what slipped the net. Good lad, Charlie. We still, we keep in touch, but yeah. He's. You never know. He's still young, so maybe he'll come back. But yeah, I really like Charlie.
Yeah, so I was impressed that night. He's in with Mitch Mitchell, and he was calm, cool, collected again.
Yeah, but like with Craig Poxton, Zathan Morris, Billy Bird. Obviously we mustn't forget Joe Hearn. He's guaranteed excitement, and we've got two other new lads now coming into it: Alan Ratip and Ryan Frost from Colchester. So. Obviously with Dwayne Green as well, we've got we've got a good little crew down there.
I mentioned Joe Hearn, then obviously he came onto a lot of people's radar with his stop over Griffiths. Yeah,
that was it. That was something that nobody really does, and he just looked very, very powerful and strong that night. And he's becoming difficult to match him, but. He's ticking all the boxes in every fight. He's now had a couple of fresh weeks. A couple of weeks off from his last fight, whereas he's had a couple of cuts and stuff. But he's back in the gym. He's back with Russ. He's back over at weekends with me and John. And he's fresh and ready for 2016.
You've got Billy Bird. You can chuck in the hat as well, obviously.
Yeah, Billy. He's Billy's just waiting for that opportunity. We want to get the show down his end in Essex, and maybe get him to top the bill down there with a good title fight. He's in the title picture. That just keep him warm and keep him ready.
Yeah, and obviously Scott Moyles, Iron Duck. He's gone off the scene a bit lately, but
yeah, he was in the gym Sunday. Iron. He pops in. He's more involved. He's trying to keep Aylsham Amateur Boxing Club Alive, which has been a great club that gave me him, the Walshes. It all come from there. Started their careers off there, so he's taken his time out to get that club up and running again. I don't think we've seen the end of Scott, but if he does, he does. If he don't, he don't. But he's had some. You think about it, he's been in with the likes of Luke Campbell. He's had his opportunity with Mitchell Smith. He's done very well from a scrappy kid from Aylsham in his early days. He's done very, very well.
Because sorry about that. Obviously, a lot of people got asked Mitchell Smith fight. Obviously, that's on YouTube. A lot of people watched it and said that Scott should have got the decision that night.
You'd have to win convincingly, I think, to get that. I think if it had pushed himself over the line a little bit more, but I don't know. You have to win convincingly. That's as simple as that. And you're never going to get no favours, I don't think. It is what it is. It's still, he's still a very creditable performance by Scotty.
Yeah, obviously, you mentioned it, kicking off 2016. We obviously got a big night for Ryan Walsh in January. Can you talk us through that, please, Graham?
Yeah, we've got a defence of voluntary against Ryan Doyle. To be honest, Ryan never had no time out of the gym. 2 or 3 days, he's back in there, obviously running the next day as him and his brother always do. From his last fight, he's been sparring with Yusuf Safar. He's also done quite a few rounds with George Jupp, who their people contacted us for preparation. He's now just gone to Tenerife, where he will stay for the Christmas, training up in the mountains. So, he's full on, and he's just desperate to get busy, desperate to hang on to that title, and cement his position.
Yeah, I think Ryan deserves his big break, doesn't he? He's put his time into the sport.
Listen, he's British champion now, so let's just move on from there.
Yeah, of course.
Get that belt outright, and maybe European title, and then move on to other things.
Moving on, in February we've got Craig Poxton. He's fighting for the English title. That's going to be a massive night in Doncaster.
He's fighting Andy Townend, isn't he? Yeah, it's a little bit of a Barnsley battle, that one. But yeah, he's Matt's done a great job with him. He's Craig is he came to me as his manager, and he was 1-2, I think his record was, or 2-1, one or the other. But it's a completely different record now. You have to credit Mervyn Turner, the promoter of Shamrock Promotions. Without these home shows, that wouldn't, probably wouldn't be able to happen, would it? That's as simple as that. But Craig has worked very, very hard. Craig's always had potential. He was a good junior, but he's just flitted in and out of boxing for a little period there. But he seems settled now. He's working over there with Matt and coming over ours at weekends for sparring. So he seems to be settled in his life. So happy days. Let's get that English title in the new year.
Yeah, because he's a very improved fighter, isn't he, Craig? And
definitely. Yeah, we've got our next Shamrock show first week in March as well at the halls.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Everybody will be a very busy January.
It was mentioned Liam before, but obviously Liam Walsh gone through a few injuries himself. And a lot of people ask, what weight would Liam look for his world title shot at?
It's all down to where the opportunities are. I mean, obviously he'll make lightweight easier than he makes super featherweight, but he feels strong at both. He feels very strong at super featherweight because he's a massive super featherweight. But I do honestly believe that the opportunity will come at super feather. And that's, after a very positive meeting with Frank Warren in the last couple of weeks, I think that's the route we're going to go. We'll probably be back out about April time when the knuckles all settle down and everything, and he can punch again. That's where we're looking on going.
I'm looking forward to that date.
Yeah,
I have a lot of questions coming. Do you people thinking like other boxers relocating to Norwich to start training underneath you? Are you looking forward to them days?
They don't know where Norwich is. If it weren't for our football team, they wouldn't know, I don't suppose. But now, listen. At the end of the day, we're doing well here. We've got a great amateur gym. We've got Norwich City ABC. It'd be nice to, this county keep producing good fighters. You've got a brilliant gym down at Attleborough with John Dennis. You know, you've got the McAllister boys and the Saffers running a great gym out of ours. Norwich City ABC is that they've got a couple of very, very special kids coming out of there. Norwich Lads Club, you know, all of this. There's a lot. The amateur scene around here is very, very good at the moment. So hopefully these kids will come through, and they're our proper boys, aren't they? You know. But listen, if people want to come and see you and they wanted to relocate here, then you know, we do it. You've got to remember a lot of the boys under us now are actually from Essex, Essex area and stuff like that. I've got a very good link up with Russ Smith there. We've got 3 or 4 boys, 3 or 4 lads now. Will soon be 5. So, you know, it's expanding. It's like it's East Anglia, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, I saw a tweet go out for a few people about a Carroll Road showdown for the local boxers. That'd be a great night, wouldn't it? That happen.
Yeah, I mean, Liam Walsh boxing for the world title. What more could you ask for?
Exactly.
You know, with all the other boys on, obviously Ryan and all the other lads getting on, and maybe Frank putting a couple of big contests on. You know, big in-house fights on. You know, could easily be done.
And obviously got a go, went you? Got him as well.
Yeah. When Anthony, when he's back from injury, then there's him around. Yeah, of course.
What plans you got for the future for the gym?
Just keeping busy, keeping everybody happy. I keep doing what we're doing, and the main thing is keep enjoying what we're doing. That's the thing is, you know, you've got to enjoy that. There's a lot of pressure in boxing. There's a lot of pressure for the boxers, the matchmakers, the managers, everything. And there's not always the greatest rewards in this sport, but it's a certain type of people do this. And you've got to love the sport, and you know, me to everybody else is tell everyone enjoy what you're doing. That's the main thing. Really enjoy it.
Yeah, that's obviously, like you say, that is the main thing in life. Obviously, touching at Mervyn Town, he's doing a great job promoting the lads down there and things like that, putting the shows on. But he's obviously training Prince Patel. We have a lot of questions about Prince. What do you think about Prince and his style and characters like him in boxing?
Well, you know, if he is a character. He's done what he wanted to do. He's got people talking about him. I met him face to face. He seemed a right nice lad with good manners. You know, I haven't been over impressed with 1 or 2 statements he's made early doors, but hopefully that was just down to inexperience. But you know, he's probably the most well-known novice fighter in the country. Yeah.
So you got to take your hat off for him for that.
Yeah, he's getting himself talked about and he's getting himself known. So, you know, listen, you know, let people do what they want to do. At the end of the day, that's down to them.
It's what just tonight, Graham, and I appreciate you giving me your time up tonight. I've got one more question for you that came from Ryan Walsh. I've got to ask it.
Yeah.
Who's the best you've ever trained?
Right. Here we go. The most successful at the moment would be Herbie Hide, 2 times world heavyweight champion. The most punctual, and steely determination, you might have to say, John Thaxton. Yeah. The full package would have to be the Walshes. No, listen, I'm just being honest with you here. The full package would have to be the Walshes. They tick every box. Maybe the most enjoyment would possibly be taking Sam Sexton from a little chubby, cheeky little 14-year-old from Mile Cross into a Commonwealth champion in front of 10,000 people. You know, it's. I think it's a very hard thing to do. It's a very hard thing to say who's the best. They're all best for them reasons. Yeah. I'm going to leave that one at that.
Yeah, that's a brilliant answer. And I think it's a bit of a tongue-in-cheek question from Ryan anyway.
Yeah, no, listen. When Ryan, I often used to get asked, who's the best one out of the Walshes? And I always used to say, depends what day it is. No, that's how I said it. Yeah. You know, when they used to train together, spar together, who's the best Walsh? Depends what day it is.
Yeah. But they are
Then
three.
Michael used to tell us that he was an ABA champion, the other two weren't. So that used to start an open debate in the gym.
Yeah, because the thing about Michael, not a lot of people see his boxing side because of the fights he took as a pro. Obviously,
Yeah.
He's a great boxer.
Yeah, definitely. That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I say, Graham, thank you for giving up your time tonight. I'd love to get you back on in the future, and like to wish you a Merry Christmas and all the best for going forward, mate.
And you, just like to give a little mention to Jerry Dawes, our top photographer, and also Norwich Boxing for the support. Chris Lakey and Rob Butler, Radio Norfolk, and the Eastern Daily Press back us 110%. Give us massive support. I can't thank them enough.
Of course, I didn't touch it myself, but Ben Horner at Norwich Boxing is doing a great job. He keeps us up to date, doesn't he?
Yeah, Ben's a top lad. Yeah, we've got nothing but the utmost respect for him. But every one of them people do do an absolutely good job, even down to the staff at St Andrews Hall. They're all excellent.
Yeah, and that venue, I forgot to touch on it then. That's a beautiful venue, and people need to get down there.
Yeah, absolutely rocking. There's a great atmosphere there, and I believe the next show we're probably looking at about a 9-fight show.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yes, so that could be a very, very special show.
All right, brilliant. Thanks for your time tonight, Graham. That's been an absolute laugh. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, thank you, mate. All the best.
I'll speak to you soon. Cheers, bud.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.